Hey guys. You might know XRP has one of the fastest and most scalable cryptocurrencies in the world today. A whopping $76 billion in payments are sent through a vast network of banks every day. Here you can find good content from all over the world. Subscribe to my Crypto Andreas channel and we'll get started. Ripple is a tech company in San Francisco that wants to help banks move that cash from point A to point B faster and more cheaply. Ripple wants to do that by utilizing a digital token called the XRP. But did you also know that it was designed to operate at $10,000 per coin? So is Ripple the next big breakout coin? What Ripple really is going after is the SWIFT network, or international payments transfer. So what you're talking about here is an upgrade of the international financial system, and that's a very big market. The obvious question you might be asking now is, can it go that high? Let's find out. If this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe and click on the bell so you don't miss any new videos. When XRP was created, it was designed to be a replacement for both institutional and retail financial systems in every market around the world. How do we know this? If we take a closer look at how XRP is constructed, it becomes obvious. A famous quote from Ripple Labs co-founder Arthur Brito provides us with an interesting clue. In 2017 he wrote, "XRP must be scalable to accommodate 7.5 billion people." This quote provides insight into the scale of Ripple's ambitions to be used by the global population. First, let's examine some of the main features of XRP that support the claim that it was designed to carry $10,000 of value per coin. XRP's primary use case is to enable cross-border payments that are faster, cheaper, and more reliable than existing systems such as SWIFT. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse joins us right now. Some say a Ripple could be the next Bitcoin. What do you think, Brad? Is that a compliment, that Ripple could be the next Bitcoin? Well, I think if we're solving a real problem and it's at scale, then I think it's a compliment. Some, I think, may look back on Bitcoin and find that it was the Napster of digital assets. What I mean by that is, Napster was the first to digitize music and demonstrate their circumventing royalty payments, and governments stepped in, and Napster was not successful, but Spotify, iTunes, Pandora, they were very successful. I think what you'll find is that maybe the next generation of digital assets ends up solving some of the original problems that Bitcoin set out to solve. So RippleNet is trying to take on SWIFT. It's interesting as you step back and look at this. If you and I decided we're going to send $10,000 to California today, the fastest way is for us to do it would be drive to the airport and fly it there. That's a crazy thing to think about when you're in the age of the internet. We're used to information on demand when we think about the customers that have come on board. It's because we're solving that real problem. We're changing the nature of a payment taking days to settle to California to seconds. So we now have well over 100 customers, ranging for some of the biggest banks in the world to payment providers to the Western Unions, MoneyGram, Lindland Pay out of China. Back to your questions, is XRP the next Bitcoin? If we work with the system to solve this problem, and we can solve that problem at scale, a problem measured in the trillions of dollars, there's a lot of opportunity to create value in XRP. Essentially, XRP is trying to provide a reliable on-demand source of liquidity for cross-border payments. Liquidity describes the degree to which an asset or security can be quickly bought or sold in the market without affecting the asset's price. What we see in today's market is price volatility, as a relatively small number of investors buy and sell XRP on exchanges. Liquidity for XRP or any other crypto comes as the price rises. Higher prices equals higher liquidity. The fact that Ripple Labs locked up 55% of the total XRP in timed release escrow accounts and has been disciplined in relocking the unsold portions of each release will help to eventually drive the price higher. Even though institutional partners are likely buying XRP over the counter from these releases, this is not reflected in the published exchange prices. During the last 6 months, XRP's price has ranged from 0.25 cents all the way up to 0.60 cents, which represents a 120% range either side. Even though this seems like massive movement, it is not problematic for institutional use because of XRP's fast 3-second settlement times. Big part of the value proposition of Ripple, I think, is the cryptocurrency, the XRP, and there we do find that the banks are hesitant to convert things into a cryptocurrency right now because of the volatility in the currencies, because of the fact that you don't have the deep liquidity that you have in, for example, the dollar. I hear people talk about volatility, and I feel like they're propagating this misinformation that the volatility risk of fiats. Volatility is just a mathematical calculation of time times volatility. If you hold fiat for, let's say, an average SWIFT transaction today's in the order of magnitude 2 days, that's about 180,000 seconds. An XRP transaction is 3 seconds. So if you take a low volatile asset times a long duration, fiat or a high volatility asset versus a very short amount of time, it turns out mathematically, there's less volatility risk in an XRP transaction than there is in a fiat transaction. The difference is you have market makers when you do a SWIFT transaction. There's banks saying as a market maker, saying I'll lock in that rate, I'll take the volatility risk for the next 2 or 3 days. With XRP, you don't have to do that because it's settled so quickly. What is problematic, however, is that this price movement was driven by relatively small retail investments. To move value on the scale of SWIFT's $5 trillion of daily transactions requires much more liquidity than is available in today's XRP pool. If 45 billion XRP are available, this would require a price of approximately $111 per XRP. We know that some of the XRP supply has been burned or lost by a lost private keys, and a much larger percentage is probably locked up as long-term investors hold XRP. Thus, an even smaller supply of XRP requires an even higher price to provide the minimum liquidity to accommodate SWIFT international payments, retail payments, credit cards, and institutional and retirement investments, such as Grayscale and Morgan Creek Capital, will drive demand for liquidity. This increase in liquidity will also raise the price, which provides the liquidity, which creates a circle in which demand increases price, which increases liquidity, which increases demand. Once the cycle gains momentum, it's almost impossible to stop it. It has so much energy, so how high can this go? As of October 2017, it was calculated that the value of the world's asset classes total $1.14 quadrillion. With above-ground gold at 7.7 trillion, global stock markets at 73 trillion, global money supply 90.4 trillion, global debt 215 trillion, global real estate 217 trillion, and derivative markets at 544 trillion. If the entire $1.14 quadrillion value of all asset classes was tokenized by a XRP, that would require at least $11,400 per coin. This example clearly demonstrates the scale of liquidity that XRP is designed to handle. Customers that want to take advantage of using a digital asset like XRP for liquidity, what that means is instead of pre-funding literally the trillions of dollars that banks have with other banks around the world, they pre-fund that amount that sits there. It's really dormant cash sitting there with digital assets. You can make that much more real-time to enable a payment across a border into another currency in real. How much money is pre-funded, and how long does it typically sit there? There's $27 trillion sitting in these bank-to-bank accounts. They're called Nostro accounts, Voster accounts. It really is a problem that if we can reduce the time, the friction, the cost, we really can't accelerate global commerce, and by reducing that friction, you accelerate that engine. It's good across the board.